All right, everyone, I am officially at a roadblock that I need some trim that accounts for a different insulation than R&M steel sent because I did the upgraded insulation on the hangar door. I need the trim that accounts for that on the hangar door, and I can't finish siding or even start the roofing until I have that trim. And the problem is R&M steel does not have a truck heading this way for weeks. And since I have equipment out here that needs to get out of here so that I'm not paying rental and even the stuff on loan, you know, my friends need their stuff back. So I think the plan is I'm gonna jump in the truck, we're gonna rally up to R&M Steel in Caldwell, Idaho, and hopefully while I'm up there, get a little tour of their facility and see what goes into manufacturing these kind of rigid span or red iron steel buildings. Got about a 6-hour drive ahead of me. Let's go ahead and get going. Tell me why the red?
Okay, two reasons. One, red oxide primer is $12 a gallon cheaper than gray. If you leave the gray out and it gets any kind of weathering on it, it looks like it's bleeding because it starts to rust. Since we run red oxide purlins because they're cheaper than the galvanized purlins from the paint versus the zinc content, it all matches.
Gotcha.
So that's the primary reason. We're trying to be the lowest cost producer. If somebody wants to paint it, it's a water-based red oxide primer. You can put another top coat on it and just, I had Dr. in Scappoose painted his all white. And basically that thing looked like a hospital operating room. And he built that whole thing all by himself. He'd never done one before.
Wow. That is what 22 feet of steel looks like on an 11-foot long roof rack. And welcome back to Reno. We have the trim finally here so we can start working on sheeting the hangar door. After a quick little 13-hour road trip, I actually got back last night, but I was so smoked I didn't even pick up the camera. I think I was in bed by like 7:30. But I just looked at some of the footage, and unfortunately it was so loud in the factory over there that you couldn't really hear what we were talking about. So I figured it was worth taking a second to recap. Basically, it's really cool seeing how R&M Steel manufactures these buildings. They really are building like start to finish. They're cutting out all of the steel to make the main frames. They actually lay it out. There's like a 300-foot section.
But from this line to that door is 300 feet, so we can go up to a 300-foot clear span building. We lay all the frames out on the floor, square them all up, then bolt the connection plates together and then tack them in place. Because if you were an 1/8 of an inch off on the span this wide, at 120 feet, you missed the other side by 4 inches.
Wow. So when my frames are going up and I was saying how amazing it was that they actually just fit and bolted together perfectly, that's no accident. That is because they actually do fit everything in the factory first, which I think is pretty cool. And then after the main frames, they do actually cut and bend all of their secondary framing, all the girts, purlins, and the C-channel. Same with the trim, gutters, all of that stuff is made in-house. Pretty much everything but the nuts and bolts they do. Truly American made right there in their factory, which is really awesome. And then getting to talk with them a little bit more, it was cool seeing that their process and every part of their operation start to finish is efficiency and budget minded. They're trying to build the best building they can at the lowest price possible. And I think they're doing a pretty dang good job of that. They were saying they put out like 400 buildings a year. That's more than one a day. It's pretty insane. So anyway, it was nice to get to see where my building came from. And you know, I'd be lying to you if I told you that was my first time I'd been there. I actually did a factory tour 3 or 4 years ago before I even placed my order for the building. And it was one of the deciding factors in why I went with R&M Steel over some of their competitors. Basically, the steel building market, for anyone that is unaware, can be kind of slimy. There's a lot of brokers that pretend to be manufacturers, and they'll do all these kind of shady marketing approaches of saying that they have some fire sale for a building that someone backed out on and they're going to give you half off. And basically they're just trying to loop people into sending in a deposit, and then they'll pretty much ghost you. And a lot of times if they actually do provide a building, they're gonna send it to you without engineered plans. They're gonna charge you more for the stuff that you need to actually get your permit. It's just a shady operation. So being able to see that R&M Steel is in fact the manufacturer, one of the biggest in the nation, and that they build everything in-house, they have a very professional, smooth operation, just made me feel more comfortable purchasing my building through them. So anyway, I hope you guys didn't mind a quick little break from the build to get that factory tour. And before I wrap this up, I do want to take a second to give a huge shout out and thank you to my friends over at Squarespace for sponsoring this video. And for those of you that don't know, Squarespace is the ultimate way to build a website and run your business. You start with one of their award-winning templates, you craft it into your own beautiful professional looking website that runs on their new Fluid engine, which is the fastest, easiest way to build a website. It literally is just like click to change, drag and drop. Anyone can do it, zero experience necessary. So if you are in the market or find yourself in the market soon for building a website, whether it be for an online store, personal blog, professional photo gallery, maybe you're gonna just use it as a digital business card. I truly hope that you will put Squarespace at the top of your list. So if you haven't yet, head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to purchase, make sure you use code Trent Palmer. Helps me out a little and it gets you 10% off. Thank you again, Squarespace, for sponsoring this one. And you guys know the drill. Like this video if you do. Subscribe if you haven't. Come be my wingman. See you on the next one. Peace.